Well, good morning and welcome back to the shop. So I decided to hold off on the gel coat. The reason is I did some research and the gel coat says you should be using not only a specific gel coat gun, but you should have at least a 2.2 if not a 2.4 tip. Plus you also have to be running 50 or 60 PSI at the gun. I don't want to do that to my DeVilbiss gun. So I decided to buy an $80 gun that hopefully will last enough to do the hull. And to be honest with you, the hull doesn't turn out 100% beautiful. I don't really care. But basically, I don't want to take a chance of having a problem ruining my gun. So I bought another gun. We'll do the hull another day. And again, that's not important. What's important is that the craft is ready to go into 2K. So it has all been sanded down. I've got the adhesion promoter on it. Any purple you see is two things. First off, I couldn't really get in there with anything other than just the sandpaper. But second thing is that this is all covered by the seat anyways, and this is covered by the cover up here. So again, you know, any little purple you see is going to be covered by the 2K. And like I said, that should stick pretty good because it's not coming off anyway. So it's hopefully it'll be the 2K with the adhesion promoter is not going to do any damage. But again, this is just a jet ski. It's not really a concern for that, right? It's all about what does the color look like? How does it lay down? You know, is it easy to remove the decals after you've done it? You know, does it peel the paint? All of that. That's the important stuff. So I'm ready to put this in 2K. I'm going to go mix up a batch and let's spray this thing. Well, there we go. With the magic of television, the craft is painted in its first coat of 2K. Now, I've taken it down with about a 130 or 120 paper, and it did a great job. I unfortunately, obviously burned through in a few places. I'm not going to try to flatten this out because this is fiberglass. There's no way I'm going to get rid of the waves, so I am going to burn through. But I'm going to do a little bit of a trick that Barry said over at Joe Daddy's Garage. I'm going to cut my next batch of 2K with some thinner. And that way there, hopefully it's going to spray on a lot lighter and just to give me a cover coat that I might not have to sand. I don't know. It's going to be a challenge though. But what I want to do is put this in one more coat of 2K and hopefully I don't have to sand it after that. But if I do, I do. But I'll just then lightly scuff it because it's going to be such a light layer that hopefully I don't need to worry about flattening it down. Now I found a couple of pinholes in the glass and that is normal. And so I've just patched those. Once that hardens up, I'm going to sand that down and then I'm going to mix up some 2K and we'll put it into a 2K, but like I said, a little bit thinner of a mix, and then we'll see what we get at the end of that result. Okay, so I hope I got this right. So this is mixed 4 to 1 to 1. So it's 4 parts primer, 1 part reducer, 1 part hardener. It's a lot thinner. So I went down to my needle down. So instead of a 1.8, which is what I was shooting the raw primer with, I moved down to a 1.4, so I got a 1.4 nozzle and 1.4 metering rod. I've reduced the pressure to about 22 pounds rather than 35 pounds, so it should be a lot less. Everything's wide open. This is going to be the first shot with this stuff and see what we get. Now you can see that that's a little bit of an angle, so I can adjust that by just moving my fan a bit. So we got a good coverage. It's a little heavy though, so I'm going to do a trick here. I'm going to hold it for 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Actually, that's really clear. I don't see a figure 8. Sometimes you'll see a figure 8 when you hold it for that long. So what I'm going to do is the fan is wide open. I'm just going to bring the fan in just a bit. Boy, that's great. It's a lot thinner. So let's paint this jet ski and let's see what it does now with the thinner paint. All right, so I normally wouldn't be doing this, but the garage door is wide open, the man door is wide open, the fans are going. We've already cleared the air out of the garage. There's a little bit of fumes coming off of the paint, but again, I'm not going to be here that long. So first thing, it laid down wonderfully. So great tip from Barry, 4 to 1 to 1. 4 parts primer filler, 1 part reducer, 1 part hardener, and that way there what we end up doing now is we've laid this down so smoothly that I'm going to go straight to the 300 or maybe even the 400. Remember, we want to paint the car and we want to do 400 on the paint on the car, so I want to do 400 here. I want to do everything here that we're going to do on the car. So since this is such a nice coat, the 400 should be able to flatten this out within a couple of strokes. There's not a lot of orange peel. So number one, we've got that done. Number two, what did we learn? Well, we learned with the 1.4 now tip with 22 pounds, we can shoot some thinner stuff, right? I wouldn't have been able to shoot this at those settings if I would have left the primer thick as it was out of the can. So this way here, we're going to be able to do this. We've learned the 1.4 works. We can control the fan. We can control the amount of fluid coming out of the tip. So I'm going to be using that 1.4 for the base coat and the clear coat, and of course the white, like I said. So next step is just to let this harden overnight. We're going to hit this tomorrow with some 400, and then hopefully we can hit white where we're going to be putting the call numbers. So the call letters are going to go along here. We're going to hit that white. We're going to put some white along the side here, which is going to then be for, of course, some pinstriping that we're going to do. I thought maybe at the end here, maybe either do the swim platform white. I don't know really. I've got to figure that out. And then, of course, we have some venting and things like that, you know, which goes on the front. I'm thinking again, you know, there's this white or there's this blue. So we got plenty of time to figure those color schemes out. But basically now, we're done for the day. We're going to let this set up, and we'll be back tomorrow. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hit that like button if you did, and get ready for part 3.